I got this movie called Rust Creek. I could have sworn I've seen this before, but bottom line is I'm doing a review on it now, so here we go. You got this chick by the name of Sawyer. She's been running track, and then she gets this call from this lady by the name of Cindy. I guess it was like some type of job interview or whatever like that. So she's going from Kentucky all the way to D.C., but she's driving there. First off, she can barely get a car started. Then you think to herself, how the fuck is that car going to last from Kentucky all the way to D.C.? Nevertheless, she does the GPS or whatever like that. And the thing is, the GPS doesn't want to go through the highway because it's going to be mad traffic over it. Now it's taking them scenic routes. She said, fuck the GPS. She started pulling out maps. It took her to a dead end, and she had to keep on going. She ended up getting to this bridge and stopping. Apparently, these other two people saw her or whatever like that. They trying to make sure she saw him. But she's just trying to turn back around because she got lost. Here's the thing, though. She pulls over on the side of the road and starts looking at the map. And she gets out the car and starts looking at it. I'm like, why do you even get out the car? Anyway, the two guys pull up, Harrison and Buck. And they're trying to help her out with directions and whatnot. But they seem kind of shaky when they're asking this shit. And she can feel it, too. They thinking she's seen something, but she really ain't see shit. Bottom line is Buck starts feeling on her, and you already know what time it is. She starts whipping ass. In the process, she got stabbed in her leg, and she had to run away from him. So now she's basically stuck in the woods. Meanwhile, we go to the sheriff's office, Sheriff Doyle. Deputy calls in and talk about is a car on the road or something like that. They're trying to see if it's connected to this dude by the name of Eduardo. He tells them to do his little investigation on it and whatnot. Crazy thing is, we find out that's the dude that Buck and Harrison was burying. But why, though? So Sawyer's running around the woods, and like I said, her leg is badly injured. She gets some water by the creek, and basically she's telling herself it's going to be all right, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep that positive energy. Until we find out somebody moved her car. Guarantee it was Buck. They end up tossing her car off the fucking cliff. She happened to be a couple feet away seeing that shit. We're like, damn. They still searching around for her, but she's able to get away. But she goes back over to the car and thinking to herself, hopefully she can get the phone out of there because her phone was inside the car at the time when all this stuff went down. But the phone's destroyed, but it's still working. Obviously, she ain't getting no damn signal. So she's losing hope thinking she's pretty much fucked. Later on, Doyle ends up checking up on Buck and Harrison and he's like, hey, what y'all doing? Now, he's arrested these boys plenty of times before, apparently. And that's pretty much it. He ended up going back to the station. Meanwhile, Deputy Jones is doing his due diligence. But I'm starting to notice old Doyle's acting very nonchalant all of a sudden about this case. So the deputy finds out some information or whatever like that. And it turns out he finds out who the car belonged to. State police came down too. So now Doyle's got the information on who the car belongs to or whatever like that. But I'm like, again, why is he so nonchalant? Well, he goes back to talk to Harrison and Buck again. And guess what? This motherfucker knew exactly what was going on the whole time. In fact, he wanted her to be done deal, done there, buried right there in the woods. What in all of the fuck? Now, Doyle is pissed off at Buck because the problem is he was supposed to finish her off. But now that she's not finished off, if they had a body, they could do their own investigation. But the thing is, they don't have a body, they have a missing persons. So basically, if it's missing persons, state troopers going to start looking all over the goddamn woods. And they don't want that shit. So Sawyer's wandering around the woods and she gets to a spot and damn near passes out. Next thing you know, she wakes up in his trailer, right? She got her leg patched up and everything. And this dude comes in, this dude by the name of Chris. Now, Chris helped her out, patched up, everything was good, but bottom line is, Sawyer, is not really that trusting, you know what I'm saying? And for good reason. She ends up throwing a thing of lol on him or whatever like that. He's got to douse himself in milk, because, if you know about chemistry and meth and things of that nature, yeah. But at that point, she ended up passing out again. Next thing you know, she wakes up, she's tied up on the floor. But he gives her a sandwich and some water and tells her to eat. He tells her, look, you want to leave, but bottom line is, get your eating up, you know what I'm saying? So you got to get some energy and strength. And besides, the next town ain't for 100 miles. And I bet you Buck and Harrison will get to you before you even reach half that point. So the thing is, Chris is actually Buck and Harrison's cousin. He cooks up meth for everybody, you know what I'm saying, getting their cheese. Apparently, he's been doing it since he was like 14 years old. It gets to a point where eventually she actually helps him out with cooking the meth. Harrison and Buck come by a couple of times, but they realize Chris is acting kind of funny, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even let us in the house to drink beer or nothing. They come up with excuses every now and then, like the chemicals are too strong, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But the first time they came by, she had to free herself from the ropes or whatever. She used the lye, mixed it with the water or whatever like that, to turn the acid so it could burn the ropes. And thankfully she did that because they came in looking for her or whatever like that, and they couldn't find her. She went out the back to the woods. So, after that, he doesn't keep her tied up no more. Deputy Jones is still looking into this stuff, but he's talking to her wife. Apparently, it's about Thanksgiving right now. So Doyle rushes him off to go home, say, enjoy your Thanksgiving, right? But then Deputy's like talking to her about some whipped cream or something like that. And he's like, I think I got some whipped cream in the office. So he goes back in the office and he hears old Doyle talking to Buck about the missing girl and all this shit. So now he's like, oh shit. The deputy's trying to get in his car. He's like, man, I'm about to tell the authorities and all this other stuff, right? But this motherfucker drops his keys, yo. While he's got the gun pointed at the sheriff, he bends down to get his keys. Odell's bangs too off and I'm done deal dead as shit. I'm like, nigga, you took your eyes off him, like, really? Later on, state troopers come back again. They trying to find Sawyer and all that. Meanwhile, deputies trying to come with an excuse like, yeah, trying to find Jones. We know what you did to Jones. So he goes through Jones' locker thinking like he might have left a clue in there or something like that. He opens a locker and finds a wallet in there. It was Sawyer's wallet. I was like, Wow. So Doyle had the wallet and put it in Jones' locker and shit. To make it seem like Jones had something to do with the Sawyer disappearance. I'm like, that shit crazy. Bottom line is all the state troopers there, they're gonna do their search. Well, Doyle goes and end up meeting up with Chris. And it's a very tense scene, but basically, Doyle's in charge of the meth and all that stuff. In fact, he's running this whole operation now. Why is he doing it? Because he got to get up on the Mexican cartels. That's why they were burying Eduardo. I mean, he must have something to do with this shit. Crooked ass sheriffs and shit. So Chris came out there with the shotgun, basically, just standing outside to make sure nobody gets in, because obviously Sawyer's in there. So Doyle's looking at him like, you think you could let that thing up before I get 2 shots in you? He said, I don't have to. You're standing next to a drum full of acid. I'm like, oh shit, like, well played. So Sheriff's like, all right, have that shit by tomorrow. It's all gravy. Now, Chris has been telling Sawyer all this stuff about how to cook meth, how to certain intricacies and stuff like that. And he's got this thermos, this like little coffee thermos. He's got this type of liquid in there, but he only keeps it in that thermos to keep it away from everything else, because one little spark, boom. So they cooked up all the meth and got it prepared for the next day. Next day, Buck comes up there with a police uniform on. I guess to trick the state troopers in case that they come through snooping around or whatever. So anyway, Chris gave him the meth and they was about to go about their business. Crazy when Chris gets back at the house, all of a sudden they cut back and they bust through the door like, oh shit, they see Sawyer. So Chris calms him down, you know what I'm saying? He does all this fake shit like Sawyer got Sawyer trained or whatever like that. Treated like a real, yeah, whatever. Then he tells him, man, can we just sit down and get like a cup of coffee? So he tells her to get the coffee. Now obviously she's going for that thermos. She pours it in a mug and puts it in the microwave and then goes sits on Chris' lap. He's like, yeah, you got that girl trained, huh? Next thing you know, the microwave starts beeping. Chris and Sawyer duck. Boom. Harrison got blown the fuck up. They get out the trailer. Next thing you know, the whole trailer blows up. Somehow Buck survived this shit. Buck and Chris are fighting back and forth. Tells Sawyer to run. Sawyer dips out. Chris is about to finish off Buck. Then all of a sudden the sheriff pops out of nowhere. And Chris got dead as shit. Then Odell tells Buck to get your gun and go chase after the girl. But Buck's in pretty bad shape. Then Odell just decides to knock off Buck. He's done dead as shit. So Sawyer's still running, she's running, and all of a sudden, she sees the police car or whatever like that. So she gets to the police car or whatever like that. Guess who was driving the fucking police car? Old Doyle. The thing is, she don't know what he looks like or nothing. I think she's heard his voice maybe once or twice. This is one phrase he was always saying throughout the movie. And when he felt like the deputy was getting out of his place, he would say like, I'm the chief and you're the Indian. And he said this when he was talking to Buck too. Somewhere in the conversation, he said it again, and that's where Sawyer realized, oh shit. So they ended up stopping the car for some reason. He's like, yeah, we just gotta go on foot from this point on. And he's telling her we gotta cross the creek, but she already knows the time it is. Next thing you know, they beefing. The sheriff tries to drown her or whatever like that. She tries to run. And they go back and forth, and she ends up dropping this like screwdriver type thing. Because she had picked it up when she was in the trailer. She finally ends up getting to it before she gets drowned, stabbing this nigga, stabs his neck. He's done dead as shit. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, why didn't he just shoot her? Well, turns out he ran out of bullets. Last scene we see is her getting back on the road and all the state troopers coming up to drive up to get her to safety. But she just kept on walking. That was the end of the movie. Some certified gangster shit. And when I saw it, I was looking at it, I was like, I know I've seen this before. I just couldn't remember because it came out back in 2018. Rust Creek on Netflix. Check it out.